Hey y'all, welcome to Water Break TV with Gabriel and Annie. I actually got kind of a fun announcement. Looks like we might be being picked up by DirecTV and Dish through NRB
right.
In the coming weeks. We'll hopefully be working out those details. Today we're going to talk about how to thrive and not just survive your summers. Now, if you're anything like me, I like staying home here in Idaho. I don't like going anywhere in our summers. I like being here. I don't mind traveling during the winters.
Yeah.
But I want to be here at my house. We put a white trash pool up and everything.
Yes.
And we have a great summertime at our house and try not to travel too much. So, but how to thrive and instead of just surviving. Now, what made you think of this topic, baby? Why did you want to bring it up?
Well, because it comes up every year, every summer. The summer, yeah. With moms in particular, I think it can be a challenge for dads too. But moms, because all the kids are home. Mm-hmm. So it probably applies no matter what phase of life you're in as a mom, even if you homeschool, even if you, I think there's a
transition
element to the summer that presents a challenge, but especially if you're one of those high octane moms, busy moms whose kids are during the school year in school all day or most of the day, and then boom, they're out.
Right.
Summer's here.
You have them all day. Yeah.
Yeah, like what? And it just, I get a lot of messages about it. Like it's a thing. Okay. It's a challenge. Mm-hmm. It comes up a lot, and yeah, I mean, and I feel like the reason we named it this is like I think the prevailing, I don't even know if it's a saying, but the prevailing belief is just like, okay, I just got to get through it. I just got to survive it. I just have to, the kids are home, and we just have to get through to September when they all go back to school, and. Yeah. I don't like that. And I don't think it should be that way. I don't want it to be. I certainly don't want it to be that way for us. So I want to talk about how can we thrive during the summer, make it the kind of experience for us as a family, for our children, for everybody involved, that we look forward to it. We love it. Yeah. We're not like white knuckling through, if you will. Yeah. So anyways, and here we are at the very beginning of summer. So I thought, let's talk about it,
Okay. So the first is, you mentioned...
I guess I did put a caveat in here.
Yeah, caveat. First week of summer is hard.
Yeah, so I want to be fair because we were actually just talking about this.
We actually...
And I've been talking about this with some of my girlfriends too, other mom friends, how the first week back, no matter how good you're doing, no matter how good your plan is, no matter how much you're planning on thriving for most of the summer, the first week back is crazy. And I don't totally know why. Like, I know you're going from... Well, no, okay, I know May, at the end of the school year, even if you're doing like online school, May's insane. We call it Maymageddon. It's too much. Mm-hmm. There's graduations, there's projects, there's class I can't believe the things that the schools or the people try to all fit into May, and it's too much. Right. So some of it is just coming off of that probably, and then being thrown into like, it's summer, now what? I think some of it's that. You're going from very structured, if you have school, to possibly zero structure, or at least the potential for a lot less structure. Right. Another thing is your kids are all thrown together. And I think it's funny, like, I think that we forget that if you're like us with school and extracurriculars and sports, they're not actually together that much during the year, which is kind of sad, but they're not. Like,
because they're in the classroom at school.
They're doing school or doing sports or doing what? They're not just like in the house living together. Right. And so it's almost like they have to relearn how to get along. Yeah. That, as soon as summer hits, and it's a skill, and they don't have it necessarily. They don't have it, and they have to learn. And so that first week is just kind of a rude awakening. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I think moms, it's like we have to like mentally adjust for is that the house gets a lot messier and dirtier really fast because everybody's there. Yeah. And they're inside, outside, at least they're at my house. So it's just like the floors are dirtier, the counters are dirtier. They're not eating their lunch at school. They're eating their lunch there. They're just always there, helping themselves to snacks, doing crafts, playing with whatever. But the house gets a lot dirtier. Food gets eaten more. There's just a lot of change in that first week. And then also there's that adjustment for us moms and I'm just using moms because we're the ones who tend to be home with the kids. You're still at work. It doesn't really matter if it's summer or...
That changed for me.
So this huge change and shift doesn't affect dads as much. Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason when I brought this up to you, you were like, what do you mean the first week's hard? And I was like, what do you mean you don't know about that? Like what? Yeah, but it's...
I kind of didn't. To be fair, I kind of didn't.
It was like, it's like any other week. And I was like, absolutely no, it's not. But mom has to figure out, okay, when am I going to get all my stuff done? Because you still have to do stuff. You still have to meal plan. You still have to do laundry. You still have to do your basic stuff. Yeah. But the kids are just there. They're not at school. So you have to, and that's no one's fault. It's not bad, but it is a huge adjustment. So I want to be fair. Yeah. And if you are like me and that first week you're like, I don't think that's abnormal. I think there's an adjustment period there, and I think that's fair. But we're going to go ahead and talk about some things that might, I don't know.
Well, and there's a couple things here.
Might help
One,
us moving forward.
Our kids are ages 11 in this summer. They'll be 11, 13, and 15 this summer. As the older your kids get, Livy's turning 15. Next year she'll be 16, 17.
Oh, she's getting so old.
They'll start adding their own structure to the summer.
Yeah.
Whether it's, working on, off-season sports or actually working a job, stuff like that. There's already
some of that.
Yeah, there's already some.
We're already beginning that with them getting older.
So the older they get, their own schedule starts to be created as part of this. But right now, it's the whole schedule changes for all the kids, and so you're having to make adjustments for every kid and their schedule changing.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what phase of life you're in, summer, even if you have a lot of littles, summer just presents it's just a whole new thing.
Yeah.
And you just get tossed into it, and it's just and I think it will continue to be a big adjustment. It'll just look different as they get older.
And then as a father, something we discussed a week or two ago, I can't even remember now how long ago, but it's recent. Dads need to make sure they're patient with the transition. Dad need to make sure they're just aware. Like I honestly, a couple weeks ago, we had to talk through it. I wasn't as aware of the transition that I should have been. I should have been more aware.
Like, why is this so hard?
I said, why? I mean, like, to me, I think the transition, I think the schedule gets easier in the summer, but apparently, what transition? So make sure.
Guys, I told him.
She told me. So make sure dads are you're being thinking and you're being patient with this whole process and transition. But secondly, also find take the lead. Find ways to do things. The other thing that we're going to be doing this summer is we pick a night whether it's most likely it's probably going to land like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, but we start a fire.
I wrote that down.
Did you? We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Well, it's good. It's good.
I'll make the point now, and then we can talk about it later. But dad lead in activity for the family.
It's really helpful.
And actually, we'll maybe get to that.
It's really helpful, or else it really does fall very heavily on mom.
Because part of what needs to happen is mom actually, and if you aren't homeschooling, moms maybe don't need as much of a break if the kids are going off to school. Moms don't need as maybe much of a break away from the family or to do other things or whatever when school's going on. But when summer happens, the kids are around her.
It's all day.
All day. Well, giving her a break is really helpful. So maybe doing a book by the fire at night and mom can catch up on laundry or whatever, or just get some downtime is really helpful and everything. We'll get there. We'll get to some more ideas as we go.
I did write that down because that's a big thing. Well, okay. So I wrote down a couple thoughts. So now that we've stated the caveat that I think it's fair to say that it is that first week is a little rough, no matter how good of a plan you have.
Yeah.
If number one, if it's more than that, if you are a mom or a dad, but especially mom, because you're the one there with the kids for the most part, if the idea of your kids coming home from like just being done with school and being at home with you, whatever that might look like in the summers, fills you with absolute panic and dread, I would say that's not a good thing. Yeah. Okay. I totally understand being like, okay, brace, it's going to be crazy. Or like, let's, that first week's a little, I get that. But if it's just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? Back to what we just started with. I don't think that's good. Mm-hmm. And usually I find, and it's actually, I get either messaged or people just say this to me one way or another very often. And it's sad because it almost sounds like they don't like their own children for lack of a better way of saying it. And so I guess normally what I find is if that's you, if you're like filled with panic and dread, the kids are going to be home. You don't want the kids to be home. It's just going to be a disaster. It always is. You're dreading summer. Usually I feel like that comes, there's probably other reasons, but usually that comes down to three different reasons. Number one, you don't like being around your kids because they're poorly behaved. Mm-hmm. Number two, you as a mom are frankly, or with lack of a better way of saying it, too sick to be high energy and fun. You're that unhealthy, okay? Or three, you as a mom are either working too much outside the home during that phase, or it doesn't even have to be outside the home. You're just trying to do too many other things. And that's making you frustrated because your kids are there basically getting in the way. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Does that sound fair? Yeah. I mean, really, it usually ends up being one of those three things. So I guess, and you can interrupt here anytime you want. Number one, if you don't like having your kids around because they're poorly behaved and you find them unpleasant, probably it's really healthy for us to all take a step back and as parents take responsibility for the fact that, we raise them, right? So we're responsible for how They are. And it may be very true that, because I think this is what happens. I think that you can send your kids off to school and off to sports and after school stuff and off to play dates. And you can really, whether you're doing that intentionally or not, or realizing it or not, you can really get away with parenting very little and being around your own children very little during the school year. And obviously there's different ways, that can look, but even in, I think, the Christian circles, even if you're homeschooling, even if you're doing some sort of co-op, or you're doing what we're doing with Logos, which is very busy. It's very busy. That's one of the things we lament during the school year is like, gosh, I wish we saw our kids more. But all that to say, you aren't around them that much, and you're not really getting a ton of parenting opportunities. So when summer hits, not only sometimes is it like a light bulb moment where you're like, here's some behaviors that I think we need to work on. You're like, what was that? What did you just say? Like what? And also I want people to think of summer as an opportunity to parent, not like,
that's right,
how can I not parent more? You know what I mean?
Parent less or vacation more or whatever.
Or like, just what can I do to distract them? Send them away. What can we do to just kind of distract from the fact that it's like,
because playing's fun.
Number one, this is your chance to see where some weak spots are in your children. And again, you're responsible for that. But I mean, they all have it. Like, okay, this one's a little bit mean. This one's a little bit, mopey, or this one's a whiner. Like, everybody has something to work on, but summer's your chance. And number one, take responsibility. Number two, get after it, right?
Yeah, be there.
Yeah, look forward to it.
We're doing a series over at Cross Politic called "You Only Have 5 Years to Raise Your Kids."
I saw that. I didn't. What's the like main point there? Is it like,
well, we're kind of going through raising kids. What should be doing kind of the ages 1 through 6, 7 through 12 or whatever. 13 through 18, that kind of stuff. Okay. So but it's kind of in the title's catchy. You only have 5 years to raise your kids, meaning that the concrete hardens very quickly, right?
Really,
95% of your spanking should be the ages before 6 years old, kind of thing, that kind of stuff.
0 to 5.
But one of the things that we've pointed out again and again in the series, and you can go over to Cross Politics Studios YouTube channel to catch that, is that everything is about discipleship with your kids. Everything is about encouraging them in the knowledge and fear of the Lord, pushing them towards God, and that includes, sometimes you don't even think about, like, let's say spanking is discipleship. It is. Or, your summertime with your kids.
It's huge.
Is discipleship.
It's a huge opportunity. That's how you should look at it, as an opportunity. And a time to learn. Like, these are the things. These are some of our blind spots. These are some of the things we need to work on that I just don't see in the school year,
And I mean, we got like I said at the very beginning of the show, we have a white trash pool that we put up outside, and
so great.
It's just a lot of fun, and it's, our summers are warm but not hot. But even like playing with your kid in the pool, that's discipleship. Like, you look at everything. Of course, it's a different kind. I mean, of course, you're having fun, you're enjoying it, but it's all, you're giving yourself to your kids in the summer in such a way where you're giving them Jesus, you're giving them discipleship, you're giving them you in that way. So if you're constantly trying to kick the kids outside, or constantly trying just to entertain the kids so you can go over here and do this or whatever, then you're missing out on. I mean, on one of the first of all, one of the most formative foundational things God's given you as a parent, as a mom or dad, is to disciple your kids. But use the summer. Don't waste the summer. Redeem the time of the summer discipling your kids.
Don't waste it. I mean, seriously, do not waste it. So, if you're just being really honest with yourself, maybe you sit down with your husband and you just kind of have a really frank conversation about where you think you guys as a family unit are, your children, how are they doing? What are they like? How are you guys parenting? Like, just be really honest with yourself. You don't want to be around your own children. That is your fault. You made them. You raised them. Some children are undoubtedly more challenging than others, 100%. And I think even when you are faithfully parenting, you can have a kid who's going through a season where it's like, okay, you are a little bit hard right now, and that's okay. But generally speaking, you should be parenting in a way that your children are the kind of people that you want to be around, and they want to be around you. And if you're missing that mark, take this summer and the next summer and the next summer to work on that, and make that a number one priority. I mean, so that's that. And I would say the second one, a lot of moms.
Real quick, I like what you said here, is you just said summer's a chance to parent as opposed to not parenting.
As to not parent.
That's really good, baby. Go. Number two. So number one was, if you are full of panic and dread, your kids are home. If you are full of panic and dread, since your kids are coming home for the summer, that's not good. That was number one.
Yeah, that was number one. And I was just going to say, I put some little notes under that. And the first one was, one of the reasons you could be doing that is because you don't like being around your kids. The second one is, if you're too sick too unhealthy to be a fun or energetic parent. You need to assess that also, you guys. If you are the kind of mom who literally just can't do anything, if you're just like too tired, your kids are like, play volleyball with me, and you're like, no thanks, I feel like garbage. If you can't go on a hike with your kids, if you don't have the energy to take them to the pool, if you just can't do basic things, unless it's possible that you have a serious health issue right now and you are working on it and you're not there yet. And that's okay. I mean, a lot of women are hit with a lot of stuff, and I get that. But if you're just, this is your state of normal, is just feeling like garbage, being overweight, having unmanaged blood sugar, having all these problems that are usually a result of lifestyle, poor nutrition choices, not prioritizing sleep, not finding a doctor who can help you with your hormones, all those things, that's going to come out in your parenting. And that's a real bummer for everybody. And especially if you're a mom, like active kids, boys, I mean, our girls are pretty active too, but like a lot of times kids, one of the reasons that they have issues or they fight or they whatever is that they're not out there moving their bodies. They're not like, just like, they need to play.
Yeah.
They need to play. They need to burn energy. They need to move their bodies. I mean, my goodness, the life at Logos School, it's a lot of sitting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sitting.
A lot of classroom.
It's a lot of focusing. It's a lot of self-control. And we love all of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, your kids should be like running around. Like they should be moving their bodies. They should be pushing their bodies, playing hard, all that. And if you're too unwell to facilitate that, then you need to address that.
Right.
Like that's a big deal. And you need to be honest with yourself. Why do you constantly say no? No, 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 no. Why? Is it, ask yourself and be honest why. Yeah. Address your health so that you can be a parent who can do better. Okay. And then the last one, and this is a big one, guys, and this is a big one for me. And I've had to make changes in this, in this area over the past. And that's just if you're working too much or you're trying to do too many other things, whatever that might be, anything that draws you away from being a present parent with your children. At this point, you guys, I'm working less than I ever have over the summer. I basically just shut my schedule down. I work bare minimum because I want to be present with my kids. I don't really have anything else to say about that. Like I've always worked less in the summer because they're home all day, but like every year I'm like, it's not enough. It's too much. It's not enough. I hate how much I'm away from them just because they're old enough. It's a
funny conversation.
Just because they're old enough that you can leave them at home. It's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, what am I doing spending the summer in the gym when my kids are just,
At home.
Without me. You know what I mean? So I just slash your schedule. Like look at your schedule, slash it. Quit your job for the summer, minimize your job. If there's other things that are pulling you away, if it's Bible studies, if it's whatever it is, minimize that so that you can spend as much quality time with your children as possible. I know for a fact that these days are short and I will never look back on these years with my kids when they lived at home with me and be like, gosh, I wish I worked more. Like, no way. Yeah. No way. So anyways, those are usually the big three reasons. So address those if that's you so that you are excited to have your children home with you for the summer. Okay. Exercise. Number 2. This comes up a lot. Like, and I made an Instagram post just recently because people are always like, how do you exercise? How do you do it when it's summer? Like it's impossible. The structure goes, the vacations, and they're just like, I can't. What do I do? Okay. Number 1. There is going to be a certain amount of truth in that. In summer, there's going to be maybe more trips. There's going to be less regular structure, less regular weeks, whatever that is, right? So you might miss a workout here and there, okay? And that needs to be okay. And the thing that's going to make it okay is you having the kind of regular nutrition that does not require you to run 6 miles every day, okay? So if you're one of those people that cannot miss a workout, either you are like mentally addicted, like I don't know what that is. If it's a control thing, it's a dopamine thing, it's an endorphin thing. Like I can't miss a workout. That's not healthy and you have a problem. Okay. Or if it's crossing over into, well, I can't because I'll get fat. Some people think that and it's just not true. And so it's not true. You can miss a workout. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're going to look exactly the same the next day. Or you are right because you eat like trash and you have been kind of offsetting that by doing, whatever it is, hit every day, spin every day, 5 miles every day. It's just not a good plan, you guys. And nothing is going to point that out to you faster than summertime with your family. Okay. Like you gotta, however it is that you decide to be eating, whatever nutritional strategy like you want to have, it needs to be okay for you to miss a day. It needs to be okay for you to miss a week. And that's true for, a car trip across the U.S.
Vacation, whatever.
It's true if you get injured. Like, it's true if you have twins. It's true for a lot of reasons. Like, you have to caretake your mother. Like, stuff's going to happen in your life that you can't control. And you need to have the kind of mental game and nutritional like foundation that doesn't wreck you. So number one, address that. Okay. It's a really bad plan. And I used to be that person. I used to be that person who ate.
That's why you're. I don't identify at this point very well.
Yeah. That so many exercisers do.
Yeah.
I ate so poorly, and I got away with it. I'm using this loosely, by running excessively and never missing. That means not missing on vacation. That means I would not miss because I was like, I can't afford to because I eat crap and I'm addicted to crap, and it's a really bad place to be. And I'm not opposed to, listen, we're going to Texas this weekend. Yep. And I always check, I look at my schedule. Yep. I look at the state of the art hotel gym.
Treadmill.
They always call it state of the art. It's usually just like a Bowflex and, and I check it. If I have time and I'm going to miss a run, I'll get a run in. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But then again, if I go for 3 days and I don't get a run, I don't care. Yeah. Or I don't care. But anyways, what story?
This is before we had kids. And
that was psychotic. It was absolutely psychotic.
Annie...
like I don't even know which story you're going to tell because there's so many.
There's a lot of.
It was so bad.
But for a couple weeks, Annie would come home, or I would come home and Annie would be cold, or I would come home and Annie would be hot, and then this went on for like a couple weeks.
This is a good one.
And then
I was unwell.
One time I remember one time at night she's like, "Hold me, I'm cold. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I just." And maybe I'm sick. I don't even know how we described it. You didn't really know how to describe it.
It was an off and on
and then
raging fever.
Yeah, and then we're in Oregon.
We went on vacation.
Visiting, vacation, whatever. And this is again before we had kids. And Annie went on like a 10-mile run or something.
It was longer than that.
And then she came back. She's like, I just feel horrible. I think I need to go to quick care.
I think I need to go to a doctor.
And so I took her into quick care, and come to find out. She had a kidney infection.
Yeah, like a really bad one.
Like a pretty bad one. And the doctor's like, oh my goodness. And so it took Annie, but Annie's like pain tolerance is really high. And so it took her like 3 weeks or whatever it was to figure out that she had a high dose, kidney.
It had been
whatever,
a long time.
Yeah.
But listen, what you're illustrating is that A, I did not listen to my body at all.
Yeah.
And B, I was so obsessed with running. I was marathon training at the time. So I was highly motivated to not miss my long run.
Kidney infection or not.
Guys, if you have a raging fever, just don't run. Perfect example. Just don't do it.
Figure it out.
Okay. And that's why you need to not eat like crap so that when you miss a run, it's not a big deal. So anyways, I think that's number one in the summer because I think a lot of the panic comes from that. Is that people are just like, well, I can't miss a workout. And it's like, you need to be able to miss a workout. So you need to restructure your life and your brain so that you're able to miss one because it's going to happen. All right. Your kid's going to get pink eye and it's going to happen. It's going to happen sometimes. Okay. Another reminder on the exercise side of things, especially on the lifting, the strength training side of things. And this is a really interesting statistic. I think Andy Galpin was the guy who I love. I think he was the one who quoted this recently. But in order to just maintain strength, so let's say all school year long, all fall, winter, spring, you worked hard in the gym, as you should be, right? Strength training. I want everybody to be doing it. I want you to do it consistently as best as you can. So maybe you make all these gains and you're so excited and you're so proud of yourself and summer is coming and you're like, I don't know if at least I know I'm not going to be able to keep that, regularity up. What do? I don't want to lose everything that I've worked so hard to build. Do you guys know that you can actually maintain? Now, it's not build. I don't mean build more. I don't mean get stronger. I don't mean hit PRs, but just maintain what you got. Okay. You can maintain strength in your muscles with basically one set of work per muscle group per week. Okay. So like if you just squat one time and you just push one time and you just pull one time, obviously make it a good, a high quality exercise choice. Make sure it's max effort. 1 set of 8, 1 set of 10, whatever. That's seriously minimum effective dose, but you can maintain doing very little. It's amazing. The body is really amazing what it takes to build versus what it takes to maintain. And as it turns out, it's quite a bit less. So even if your plan was to get 3 full body workouts in a week, some weeks you get 2, some weeks you just get 1, you can actually maintain. Right. And that's really encouraging because I think just it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of consistency and it's a lot of time and it's soreness and it's hard to think, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose it all, but honestly, so I guess another thing another way of saying this is you're way better off doing just a little than you are just throwing the towel in and be like, I quit, I'll just pick it up again in the fall. Then you'll lose gains for over 3 months of doing nothing. Okay. Right. So even if it's just hitting on each muscle group once a week.
So would that be like, could you do that in like a 1 hour workout, let's say on Tuesday or something?
I think so if you're a thorough. Or a couple workouts where you're split, different muscle groups between the two, but just very minimum effective dose. Now, if you can do more, it's better. But I think that's just really interesting. And I think encouraging that you can actually maintain with very little. And I have a couple clients who I program for. One in particular I'm thinking of, he travels so much for work. So, I mean, it's like if he's here for a stretch of 3 weeks, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
And he has been able to maintain his 1RM numbers unbelievably well by just getting this one workout in and then getting this other one in. Maybe they're not going up, but they're not going down. And that's with an immense amount of, I would say, infrequency. And it's not his fault. He's just gone all the time, It's actually pretty amazing what the human body can do. And again, that's not optimal, but I think it's encouraging to hear that. Yeah. So don't do that thing where you're like, well, I can't get 3 hour, full body hour-long workouts in this week, so I'm just going to do nothing. Don't do that. Like that's really irrational. It's not necessary to do that. And you can actually maintain with very, very little. Another thing, and just toss yourself in here if you want to. Another thing, you guys, and this was my Instagram post that I referenced earlier. This is what I was talking about in that post, is that you got to bring your kids along with this fitness stuff. Now, if your kids are like 1 and 2, I completely understand, but then again, they're not in school. They're with you all year round.
You can have them crawl a mile around the track.
Be like, come on, baby. No, but
do a 400.
This conversation isn't really for you because your life is the same no matter what the season is, because your kids aren't in school and it's just kind of the same all the time. It's a different kind of intensity, right? Yeah. But if your kids are older like ours are, and you haven't put the time in years ago to slowly bring them along with strength training, with running, with hiking, whatever it is that your family wants to do or you want them to do or you want to be able to do together, then summer is going to be really disruptive to you being able to exercise because your kids are there and they can't do it. Yeah. They're not at your level. Us put a lot of work in a long time ago. Right. And it's a lot of work. Like I've talked about this on the show before. Like several years ago, I started the girls running with me, and then I was much faster than them. So like we would run 1 mile or we would run 2 miles, and it would be really slow. And then I would have to go back out to get the rest of my miles, which runners don't love. But you do it, right? You do it so that you can bring them along, you can challenge them, but not crush their spirit. And now, you guys, years later, Liv's stinking.
She's killing it.
Now I'm full of fear this summer, okay? Because Liv and Vita are very, very fast. And my summer, I'm going from like regular training to like level up running this summer because my girls are that good. And I'm using running as an example. You guys
Cash is outrunning me right now. He's 11 years old.
I know he's an 11-year-old boy, but you have to take the time, bring them along with you. And you're not just instilling skill and fitness, although those things are important and they build slowly in a kid, but you're instilling like, this is important. We're taking care of our bodies together. This is quality time. I love doing with you. This is something that we do. So my kids don't question it. If I'm like, okay, sit down. We did this last week. This is our summer schedule. This is our workout schedule. No one was like, oh, what? I mean, it's just assumed. It's like, what are we doing? It's normal. Right. And so because of that, my working out, your working out is not disrupted at all. If anything, it's enhanced. And that's the way that it should be, you guys. But that takes parenting and it takes teaching. And it takes when they're younger, slowing down so that now, later, you're running behind them. And I mean that, literally.
No, for real.
Literally.
I mean, a couple things there. I mean, one, this is just like a basic principle of parenting and discipleship, that whatever you do, bring your kids alongside of you as best as possible and where they're at in their stage of life to be able to do it.
And anything you can. And this is important. This is health. This isn't like a hobby. This is this is taking care of your body. So everybody should be doing
and it's discipling your kids. You're actually bringing them along with you to do an activity with them. I mean, this goes from like on Saturdays, me and Cash, my son, we work on Saturdays usually for a couple hours together because we got to mow the yard or whatever.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
We always have an outside project, so I'm bringing Cash along with me to learn how to work hard. That's the big principle, is to learn how to work hard. I do want to accomplish a bunch, which we need to because of the lawn, the trees, whatever. But the bigger issue to me is I'm trying to get my son, I'm trying to teach him how to work hard. Secondly, I think related to the working out side of things, I mean, this is good for me. I like working out actually in our yard. I prefer not to go to the gym. I prefer to work out. So me and Cash I don't know if you have this down the road, but me and Cash on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings wake up at 6:30 and we go out and then we run up and down the driveway to do push-ups, sit-ups, lunges.
You told me in the car today about what you guys did this morning.
Yeah. So we do push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, just kind of, body workouts with your own body weight workouts. And it's fun, but also my son's faster than me right now.
He did tell me
he's got better oxygen than me. I mean, I'm faster than him if I went full speed, but I'd probably pull a hammy if I did.
Yeah.
But the point is like he's already more in condition and shape than I am, and we're doing push-up, sit-ups, lunges, whatever kind of body weight exercises. For me, who's someone who barely works out during the winter, I was doing push-ups and sit-ups, and then I'd stopped doing that for a little bit.
You got to bring it back.
You got to bring it back.
Trigger sessions.
That kind of thing. Yeah, get back into the trigger sessions, which I enjoy and I like, and it's easy for me to do during the work hours or non-work hours.
Yeah, it was effective.
But also I turn that time into Bible time afterwards. So me and Cash, we work out and then we stretch out and then we sit on the porch and we read the Bible and we pray together on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so it's kind of a little thing that we're doing. I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
But again, it's just an opportunity for, dads, get your sons out, get them, eventually, hopefully after the next couple of weeks of doing this, we got this big hill that we're going to jog up and down and around and everything. And that will really be intense.
I love it.
But that, again, you're bringing your son along, you're teaching him how to work out hard. You're teaching him how to, do a right push-up well, which Cash actually knows how to do pretty well. But also not be lazy in his push-ups, stuff like that. So dads, find an opportunity to do that, especially with your sons, really good. So that's
great. I love that you guys are doing that. This is kind of another note on the exercise thing in the summer is that, guys, there's like, this is for the gym rats. This is for and I love you, gym rats. I'm one of them. The people who are actually dedicated and they have a gym life, or even it's at home in their garage or whatever, but like a pretty robust strength training type routine. It's okay for your routine, exercise to look different in the summer. It's actually really healthy for our bodies to change, to mix things up, So if you're just unable or you don't want to during the summer months, spend as much time in the dark gym, just do stuff outside, play outside, like be active outside. It's incredibly good for your health. And again, it's a change. Hike, swim, like
trampoline.
Trampoline. I wrote that down. It's actually shockingly a good workout as an adult. Okay. If you guys haven't jumped on a trampoline as an adult,
you'll feel how weak your core is. Oh my goodness, my core is so weak.
My son's like, Mom, you jump on the trampoline with me. I still love to get out there on the trampoline. It's a great workout. And I just don't do that any other time of year. And our body does great with change. Change is good. If you're not in the gym, on the stair stepper in June, it's fine. Do other things. Get outside. The sunshine, man, it's so healthy. It's so medicinal for us. So don't look at all those things. Look at them as fun. Look at them as play, but they're also exercise. Okay. If you put one of those, pedometers on or any of the wearables that track your steps, if you just have a fun day with your kids, like just being active, doing stuff, go to the pool, go hike, go to the whatever, you would be amazed how many calories you burn, how many steps you get in. And again, that's not what it's all about, but you are achieving that. Like you really can do that kind of thing to some degree instead of hit class. Okay. And that's fine. So if you can just be the kind of parent who says yes and has good energy and is active and is fun, you're probably going to be okay. And just get that 1 set minimum, 1 to 2 little mini sets of strength training just to keep your muscles strong. Good enough. You can go heavy again in the wintertime, it's totally fine.
Number 3, we got
nutrition.
We got nutrition here at number 3. So, and then we got one more point we want to walk through. So nutrition, what summer nutrition should that look like?
Well, it's funny because people fall off the wagon all the time over the summer, even though arguably because there's, produce opportunities, especially around here. It depends on where you live. Some places, if you're far enough south, you have great options all year round. We live in northern Idaho, and let's just say the farmer's market is a very exciting thing for us in the summer. You get good quality produce that you don't get any other time of the year. So theoretically, you should be able to eat great in the summer, but I think that it's just the lack of structure, the travel, the vacation, the kinds of foods that tend to go along with that, the little bit more chaos in the day and in the weeks, which just makes planning a little harder. So I think it's just a little bit of all of that, I don't really, I don't know, but it just seems to be a challenge, and everybody's just like, well, I just completely fall off the wagon and I just eat chips and I just don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? But really there's a lot of things. This is very, preventable. Number 1, you guys, ladies, moms, there has never been a time where religious, not optional meal planning every week is more important. It has to happen in the summer. Okay. Because there's even more unpredictability. There's even more chaos. There's even more like, let's just have ice cream. Like there's just even more opportunity for that kind of stuff. So you have to plan. every week, whether that's Sunday night, whether that's Monday morning, whether that's midday Saturday, whatever works for you. And this is true all year round, honestly, ladies. And we talk about it. We've talked about it many times, but you have to plan. Okay. And then you have to shop, and then you have to make the food, and you have to bring the food. You don't have to go to a baseball game and eat 3 hot dogs. You can bring your own food. Okay. You don't have to go on a road trip and just eat, KFC. You can stop somewhere better or bring your own food. It's not that hard. You put it in a cooler, you take it with you. So this is all very preventable. You just have to have a mindset of, I'm still going to put good food in my body, even though it's summer, which is just funny that that's such a struggle, but it's just, I don't know if it's just habit or just like a cultural thing, but like, you don't have to eat the Doritos. You don't like, what do you mean? What? No. Yeah. You don't have to.
I'm still processing that one.
So just meal plan. He's like, what do you mean? So meal plan. Okay. And if that's something you've just never been that great at, start now, because it's going to be a blessing to you. It's going to be a blessing to your family. And it's going to take away this sort of sense of like helplessness that I can't stand that a lot of people have, where it's like, if only there was a way. There is a way. Meal plan, buy the food you want to eat, prep the food you want to eat, and then eat that food. Okay. Eat seasonally. I kind of just touched on that. I would say summer is a fantastic opportunity and time to just eat more plant food. Just eat more plant food. There's more available. Usually there's more like seasonally available to you. And like, plants are so good for you. And generally speaking, whether you are a standard American diet person, whether you're like a keto carnivore type person, a lot of those diets are all very devoid of plants. And there's so many delicious ways to prepare food. I say this a lot, but I mean, just literally, guys, just get on Pinterest. Pick the food you want to use. Kale, carrots. I just made a delicious carrot salad the other day. Yeah. We do a lot of salad, like greens, and we decided I decided to make a carrot salad. It was so good. Yeah. So good.
It was.
Tons of shredded carrot, and
we don't like steamed carrots.
Great. I don't like those. Yeah. Great flavors, pistachios on there, delicious. Take it as an opportunity or even a challenge to introduce more plants to yourself, to your family, find new recipes, find the ones you like, save them, make a folder, pin them on your refrigerator, whatever works. It takes a little bit of work, you guys, but like you cannot eat Doritos. Like you really can't. Okay. So pull yourselves together. Moms, if you're feeling really overwhelmed, talk to your husband and be like, okay, I need you to help me find a time to sit down where it's quiet. I mean, maybe you go to a coffee shop, whatever it takes. Maybe it's not just about meal planning. Maybe you need to back up a few steps and you need to like take several hours to even find recipes because you just don't make plants ever. Okay. So just put the infrastructure in that you need to put in so that you can do this. Okay. And honestly, kids love fruit. If they don't, something happened there with how you raise them. Okay. And you need to address that. But generally speaking, normal kids love fruit. Just
watermelon's going to be in heaven.
Have fruit available for them all the time. Okay. You don't need to buy you don't need to buy a bunch of processed crap. You really don't. Just have apples, have berries, have a watermelon cut up, have oranges, have it all. And in our house, like they didn't have to ask. They can just have whatever they want. They can have as much as they want. Fruit is like a net positive. It's so good for them. And because it's full of fiber, even if it's something they really love, they can't eat that much. You just get too full. You're never going to eat 10 apples. You just can't. There's too much fiber in it. And it's actually quite filling because of that. So fruit, okay? If you don't want them to eat crap, goldfish, whatever, just don't buy them. Okay?
I did let Cash have a Dr. Pepper for lunch today.
Oh, I know. He told me about
that. Did he tell you about that?
He was, oh my gosh. He just reports back everything. Okay, and this is one for you. Men, please grill. Please help your family out and grill. If you don't know how to grill, YouTube.
That's an easy one. We love grilling at our house.
What are some of the like newer things? What are some of the things that, because we always talk about grilling, but like what are some of the tools that you have, or I don't know, types of grills or whatever that have made your job easier or that are like really a next level up?
Well, I have a propane grill set up. I prefer doing everything over charcoal, but during either if Annie needs me to turn around some burgers pretty quick or some fish, whatever, it's great to turn around, especially for winter. Having a propane grill set up in the winter is really helpful because then you aren't taking the 30 minutes to get the charcoal going and all that stuff. Yeah. But I like having the options. I got a Weber propane setup. I have a griddle, a Blackstone setup.
That's big.
I have a Weber, just your standard basic Weber charcoal situation set up, and then I have 2 smokers. One's a 55-gallon barrel smoker, and then the other one is an Oklahoma Joe, and they're both, used for different reasons, but a lot. Really, you get a setup, you really enjoy it. You get the tools and the whole infrastructure set up. You will love getting out there, and so
it's like an art.
My Oklahoma, very much smoking is very much like an art. But with the propane grill, you can do steaks in 8 minutes. You can do burgers in 8 minutes also, basically. So being able to have, so the various foods, ribs, St. Louis ribs are always going to be the easiest to start with because they're pork. Beef is always harder on the rib side of things. Pork shoulder is a lot easier to start with than brisket.
We should do a whole show on barbecue.
Yeah,
we
actually
should just
we
should do like barbecue.
Go through it, all that. Yeah, that's really good.
Know about it, but it's like so delicious, you guys.
Yeah,
and it is such a blessing to our family.
And the kids. Vita was telling me the other just this morning or yesterday. She's saying, "I love it when you smoke," and then she said, because sometimes I'll smoke at night because I need the meat the next morning, or Annie just needs me to cook something for the week or something.
Yeah.
And so Vito was telling me, I love it. Sometimes you smoke and I'm fixing to go to bed and my window's cracked and the smoke comes in the room. It smells so good.
That is
kind of thing. Super sweet.
We're a barbecue family for sure. And I will say, ladies, they can grill anytime. It doesn't have to be for that night.
You've had me grill 7:30 in the morning for burgers that night or whatever.
Or just for meat for 3 days after that. Like you can just whenever you can.
One of the great, it's not really a secret, but one of the benefits of smoking or grilling is that oftentimes the meat's almost always better the next day.
Yeah, you say
especially if it's high quality meat.
Yeah.
If it's cheaper meat, it usually is not better the next day actually. But so you actually the meat and the smoke breaks down more the next day, that kind of thing. So Annie will have me cook a brisket for the week, and 8-pound brisket, and it'll last for 3 or 4 days.
Pork shoulder,
for breakfast, pork shoulder,
dinners. It'll last
pork
for
butt,
dinners.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. And then you can do lunch, dinners, all that kind of stuff. So smoking,
it's huge.
It's a lot of fun, and most men would probably like it. Most husbands would probably like it. So
it's awesome. Yeah. So guys, learn how, and ladies, the more you get, the more you give them. The grills and the gear and the stuff. Father's Day, birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a win-win, So I got you something really cool for. He's actually getting hard to buy for because he has everything.
I got all the grills.
He's got the leather and then the gloves and then the little probes that connect to your iPhone.
Yeah.
So I had to get really creative, but I think I did pretty good for Father's Day this year.
Good.
So I'm always subsidizing the griller of the family.
Yeah.
Okay, and one last thing on nutrition, and then we can.
Okay, and then we got about 8 minutes.
Yeah. So one thing, you guys, if you're, and this just works so well, so I just want to note it. If you're just like, okay, summer is so hard for me. Who knows why? But if nutritionally you just always struggle, like you just can't say no to the chippies or the barbecue food or the vacation stuff, or you just can't. You're just having a really hard time, or maybe you're coming into summer and you just have really bad habits. Period.
Get a homemade ice cream maker. That's a must for the summer. We haven't made our homemade ice cream yet, but we need to pull out the homemade ice cream maker.
Okay, that's true, but that doesn't work with what I was just saying.
I'm totally contradicting you here. But
okay.
The food that you're going to find in heaven, the food groups you're going to find in heaven is homemade ice cream, barbecue, scotch, watermelon. What was the other one?
Sometimes you put maple syrup on.
Yeah, maple syrup. Yeah, those are 5 food groups you're gonna find in heaven. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, this is an opposite point, but if you're really, really struggling, for who knows why, it doesn't really matter. One thing that works really, really well over a season like the summer is just to try the Whole Foods challenge, and all that is, it's fantastic because it's so simple. All it is that you just say to yourself, "I'm only gonna eat whole food." Like
define whole food.
So like nothing that's like
been processed.
Yeah, like highly processed or packaged or whatever. So nothing that you're going to buy in a gas station usually. Like no Doritos, no desserts, no, just whole food, meat.
Would beef jerky fall under that process?
Yeah, it's always this. Like people, you can be like, well, it's a tiny bit processed. It's probably fine. You can decide for yourself. Like, okay, can I have cheese? Sure. But you're not going to eat the Doritos, right? Like you just have to have a line and have the rule and don't cross it. And it actually is amazing because you can eat whatever you want. You can eat whenever you want. You just are only eating whole food. Yeah. So you're eating fruits, you're eating vegetables, you're eating meat, you're eating good quality dairy, you're eating eggs, you're eating nuts and seeds. And that's kind of it. Mm-hmm. So that's your salads, that's your roasted vegetables, that's your fruit on the side, that's your Greek yogurt, that's your hunks of meat. Mm-hmm. It's a miracle if you can get yourself to do it. And the beauty of it is it's like going carnivore. It's just really simple. And it's just either you can have it or you can't. So when you travel, you have to get a little creative. You might have to go to Subway and throw a salad together, or you might have to go to an actual grocery store and get a rotisserie chicken as opposed to going through Wendy's or something. But it's actually not that hard. You just have to get a little creative and think outside the box. But I have seen people from the beginning of June to the end of August exercise less than normal,
Yep.
Have
Eat more
vacation
processed
way,
food than
have vacation way more than normal, and
Mhm.
just do the whole foods thing where that's the
Yeah.
only thing they committed to, and be 10 to 20 pounds lighter by the end of the summer.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
actually really, really effective, especially if you're just kind of like, it's going to be chaos. I don't really know what else to do. I don't even know when we're going to be home.
Yeah.
It's a really good little trick. So
Yeah.
I'll just throw that out there.
Okay. Lastly, let's move on to lifestyle.
Okay. Yeah.
Here. So what do you actually even mean by lifestyle here?
Oh, it's just all the other things, just
Okay.
like life at home.
Kind of a
It's not
catch-all.
specific to nutrition or exercise.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the first thing I said is that you do need in the summertime with your kids, depending on what ages they are, you do need some structure, and you need to give that to your children for everybody's sake. Like
yeah.
you don't want it to just be this like feral, like everybody's just roaming around.
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't go well, and everybody needs some amount of structure. Now it doesn't have to be like crazy, like every single minute is accounted for, like on some spreadsheet somewhere, but like even I would say and everybody's different, so you have to figure out what works for you. It depends on the mom, it depends on the kids, it depends on your life, if you're home more, if you're not. I think our family, it's like I want us to be home more, but we're fairly busy. We're in and out with sports and friends and my work and all those things. But like even if you're just structuring in like chunks of the day, that can help. And what I have my kids do is they set timers if they need to. So I'll just say, hey, okay, if you want to play in the pool and you want to have whatever time, let's just go from here to here, have fun. When that timer goes off, here's our chores, or we're going to go do this, or it's basketball time or whatever. So if you're just even like, it's just for us, it's just kind of blocks the time. Yeah. It's not like really, really granular because I don't love that. I don't think I don't know, maybe some people like that. I don't like that, but just to give, and I find that especially if I'm gone, if we're going out to dinner or we have something going on and the kids are home alone, they do a lot better when it's like, okay, for this hour, we're going to do that. You're going to eat dinner and then you're going to clean up the kitchen. For this hour, you're going to do whatever these things for this. And then at this point, you can watch a movie. They just do so much better if they just have little touch points in time to just kind of hold the chaos together. Does that make sense? Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, this includes, for part of the schedule I lay out with Annie is we'll have time for, let's say, Cash, my son, to work outside for 2 hours, pull weed, something like that.
Yeah.
And then after that, let's say that's 9 to 11 a.m. And then let's say 11 a.m. to 11:30, he has to dribble the basketball and work on basketball because our kids play basketball. So it's a mix of, productive activity and productive work. And then, of course, in the afternoon, it's like, okay, you get some pool time from here to here or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of set up. So
find a balance.
Again, this is a great place for dad to be involved, to help with the schedule planning and to help for us, we got 10 acres at our house, so we have a lot to get done. Like Livy's working on helping the chickens get a little more range access to our property.
Yeah.
So we got animals, chickens, we got a sheep, there's various things that I just need help out with because I can't do it all myself and that kind of thing. But it's great for the kids.
In their property, in their home. Right. So and I wrote this down because I just thought it was a fun fact. What I'm starting to do now as our kids are getting older, this did not used to be the case. When they were younger, I would just literally be like this, because they needed it. Like they just needed it, and it's just like read your sticky note, check it off as you go. But now I'll sometimes give the kids just a general list of things that need to get done in a day, and I will let them manage their own time. Yeah. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm doing that because I want them to learn how to make their own schedule and to manage their own time. I cannot stand it when I end up dealing with, and usually it's in a coaching scenario, it's like in a work scenario for me. Okay. A high school age kid or even a full grown adult who just can't think for themselves. They can't, I'll be like, well, you need to get this done and this done. And they're like, well, how, when? And I'm like, just, figure it out. And, it's funny because our kids are different. Some of them like to just get all the hard, Vita likes to get every hard chore done first, all in a row. Yeah. She's a delayed, delayed gratification person. Sure. So that then she can just relax and not have any of that hanging over her head and she can take her time. Yeah. She likes to take a long shower. She likes to sit and eat a snack and read her book. Like that's what she loves. So she'll get everything done. Yeah. Lives more like she's very organized. So she'll kind of think in terms of what's like the most efficient throughout the day that might be stuff sprinkled all throughout, and like everybody's different and I don't mind that. That's funny. Some people like their harder stuff earlier in the day. Some people like it later in the afternoon. And I like to give them the ability to kind of play around with that, succeed, fail, whatever it is. But I want them to figure out how to manage their own time. And once you move out, you have to figure that out. Time management is a huge super pivotal adult skill. And as a parent, if your kids are always told exactly what to do, exactly when to do, they're not going to learn that. So it's just something to think about. And sometimes that means at dinner time discussing with Cash why something didn't get done because you pushed it off too late in the day, for example. And there's usually a consequence there. So, we're helping them learn. But anyways, that's just a thought. And here, I did write this down. This is what I said earlier. I said, dads, take advantage of night times because it's a great time for you to spend time with, have fun with, disciple, whatever, your children. And also, mom needs a break by nighttime. Yeah. Okay. Mom sometimes needs a break, or she just needs a hot minute to actually go fold the laundry because she's been partying with the children all day.
So I'll give you that example I was going to give at the very beginning of the show. On one night during the week, our nights change on this. One night during the week, the kids get to stay up past bedtime with me. We light a fire outside, and we actually are listening to an audiobook. So I can smoke a cigar, or I can do stuff too outside and work on my computer or something. But we're listening to audiobook, and then we also, like for the kids, I got mocktails, basically virgin margaritas and virgin pina coladas for the kids.
We're the best,
and they love it. They love it.
Mocktails for the children.
And so the kids actually been asking me, when are we going to do it this week?
They think it's really special.
Yeah, they really enjoy it.
Small little thing like that, and they're just so excited about it.
Yeah, it's just a little time around the fire, listening to a book that you all want to listen to, and then and I would say related to this, although this is kind of off this particular point, but also have your kids. Dads, I think particularly dads, you should assign your kids a book or two or three. I'll explain that in a minute. That they should each read. So it's coming from you. They have their own books for the summer. They have their own books and stuff like that. Last year I assigned 3 books, one for June, one for July, one for August, and they were a mix of fun books and a mix of some books I wanted them to read. I can't remember what I assigned them last summer. This year. One included a missionary. I almost always include one book on a missionary for the kids. This year it's 2 books because it's a little thicker and they're a little more kind of getting older. I want my kids to, start reading some more theology light kind of books, a little more meaty stuff. Plus, I have a missionary that they get to read too. So. It's good to, the kids are always going to have their own books that they want to read that they're excited about, but a good way to kind of disciple your kids. And oftentimes I've given them books where they think, oh, this is not going to be fun, this is going to be laborious or whatever. And by the end, they're like, they ate it up. They really enjoyed it. So a great opportunity for dads, again, to kind of like lead in some of the summer activity and planning. And also, for Annie's point, like giving your wife a break on a night, like the reading around the fire thing. And of course, Annie can join us if she wants, and she probably will. But it's really nice for her to get some time just by herself or with the kids, or to catch up on laundry, whatever. So that's it. Anything else, baby?
I think that's good.
Okay.
I think we covered most of it.
If you guys love what we're doing here at Water Break, we really appreciate your support. We're excited to, looks like Lord willing, we'll be getting on DirecTV and Dish. You can reach out to us and advertise with us. You can become a corporate partner with us in what we're doing in our program. But also join our club. Go to fightlifefeast.com, join our club. And if you want to guys be in a conversation with me and Andy, go to email us at RenchMedia@gmail.com. Follow Annie on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. And until next week, Lord bless you guys.
Bye, guys.